What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into NXT from April the 22nd, 2025. The show was just okay. It could have been better. The crowd has Las Vegas burnout, and it actually showed on this show. So it is what it is. Nothing can be done about it. But the show overall was okay. And we are going to talk about the potential call-ups later on in the review. So we'll talk about that towards the end. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they defeat Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley to retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. This was an okay TV match. And Chemical X, they're going to be busy this weekend. They're going to be at Rebellion, trying to see if they can win the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So, stuff there. Moving on. So, Penn and Teller, they tell Lexis King that they won't give him back the Heritage Cup trophy unless he defends the title tonight. Penn demands that Lexis say that their magic and magic is real, and then Lexis King's opponents will be a surprise. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. So this leads us into a backstage video footage involving Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. They were competing at Bloodsport. Not Miles Bourne, but Tavion Heights, who did fairly well, which was great. So Dark State, they show up, and they say that Ren Sinclair couldn't handle Bloodsport. Cutler James suggests that the No Quarter Catch crew disbands before Dark State takes them out, like the D'Angelo family. Miles Bourne's not backing down from a fight. To a fight. Devon Evans shows up, and he wants to smoke as well. Dion Lennox points out that Devon has no friends, so why is he picking a fight he can't win? Miles Bourne tells Devon Evans that he'll have his back, and then Dark State ends up accepting the challenge. Okay, that's cool. They're really good stuff there. It's interesting how they pivot with Javon Evans, which was pretty good. Moving on. So Ricky Saints, he shows up. He puts over how he won. How he retained the North American Championship. He said that he accomplished everything that he set out to do here in NXT. He turned everything into a reality. He's the man. So then Lexis King shows up. And Lexis King puts over Ricky Saints. He says that he's been running all over Las Vegas all weekend to try to find his precious Heritage Cup. All because those clowns, Penn and Teller, made it disappear right before his very eyes. So they continue to bicker back and forth for a brief moment. And then Lexis King suggests to Ricky Saints that he wants more gold, that he'll put up his Heritage Cup if he'll put up the North American Championship, in which Ricky Saints obliges. So that's cool. Really good stuff there. Really good shit there. So this leads us into Hank and Tank. They had a nice embrace backstage with Ruka and Zarya. So Thea Hale shows up. Thea wants another ladder match. Jada Parker walks by and says she's not in the mood for Thea's energy. Kalani Jordan says she somewhat agrees with Jada Parker. Kalani says this is not the same locker room that Thea Hale was in 6 months ago. So Fatal Influence, they join the conversation. JC Jane says that somebody needs to take out Thea Hale. Kalani Jordan says that's not her problem, and then JC suggests that Fallon Henley do it herself. I mean, she do it by herself. Okay, some more tension, which is some good shit, between JC Jane and Fallon Henley. Okay, I like it. All right. Moving on. So, Lexis King ends up losing his Heritage Cup against a returning Noam Dar. Yes, Noam Dar has been out with an injury for like a little over a year. And he's back. The match was sloppy. I don't know what the hell was going on out there, really. And then out of nowhere, Nova, he ended up hitting the Noah Rolla elbow for the 1-2-3. And it is what it is. Look, man. Noam Dar has been around for 8 to 10 years now. And how he still continues to survive in WWE is nothing short of a miracle. What the hell? He has survived Cedric Alexander. He survived Mustafa Ali. You know, when those guys was there, he was still there. And I don't know how old Noam Dar is, but he's got to be in his early 30s. If not, he's definitely in like his late 20s. But he's probably in his early 30s. But man, oh boy, I don't fucking know. But it is what it is, because Metaphor is basically broken up, because Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, they'll be on the main roster in due time. And literally, Oro Mensah is in Evolve. So that's where he's at. So basically, Metaphor is all but done with as a faction. So whatever. Who cares? Moving on. So Roxanne Perez has a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber. Roxanne says that Stephanie Vacker is not going to claim a division that she built. The Raw to WrestleMania was supposed to be her moment, but no, it had to be about Stephanie. Roxanne Perez says it felt good to ruin the moment that didn't belong to Stephanie in the first place. She didn't know that Julia had the same problem, but if Stephanie has a problem with that, maybe she should do something about it tonight. Stephanie's not 100%. Roxanne Perez brags about winning the Slammy for the NXT Superstar of the Year. She's the prodigy. Roxanne says she's going to walk out of Las Vegas as a 3-time NXT Women's Champion. And that does not happen. Spoiler alert. Moving on. So JC James is going to be taking on Rosemary over on TNA on Thursday. Okay, cool. Moving on. Thea Hale defeats Fallon Henley. She taps her out with the Kimura lock. I think it's time that we call up Fallon Henley. I think she's ready. She's been in NXT way too damn long, in my opinion. But what the fuck do I know? Moving on. So, Oba Femi comes out, and he puts over how he defeated both Trick Williams and Javon Evans. And he ended up giving both guys their props. So, Trick, he came out and he complained as per usual. He said that Oba pinned Javon. He says he didn't care if it's his birthday. He wants his title back. So the crowd chants happy birthday to Oba. And then apparently during the promo, like, some guy said something about Trick's shoes or whatever. And then Trick's like your mama like him. Which was funny as hell. Because the crowd popped on that, and I laughed on that. I was like, oh, shit, that's pretty good right there. So Trick says that he's tired of people, he started letting people butt in. He started people like Oba fumbling and stealing his opportunities. He's seen all the bums saying whatever they want. So John Henry shows up to a massive reaction. He returns. And he says that Trick Williams has not been the same since he's tackled him back in the fall. He says the rumors are true. You've changed. You used to soak in the cheers and the chants of the fans, but now all you do is soak in self-pity. And then he's living proof that when you listen to the fans, moments happen, like what happened at WrestleMania. And basically, Joe Hendry tells Trick that he's saying that he's not hungry. You're entitled. And then he calls Trick Williams a whiny bitch, which was funny. That was great. And so Trick basically began to belittle Joe Hendry, saying that he was happy that Randy Orton kicked his ass on Sunday, how he got his ass whooped. And he said that he should take that title and go back to where he belongs because the big dogs are talking. And then Joe Hendry said, yeah, he did lose to the RKO, but he did it in front of 60,000 people at WrestleMania. So, Trick, I mean, my bad, not Trick, but Joe Hendry continued on by saying that he didn't come all this way. I mean, no, he said he's not going to leave the ring because as your TNA champion, who, by the way, he's going to defend the championship at Rebellion this Sunday. He has something he wants to discuss with the NXT champion. And then Oba says, don't make the same mistake that Moose did. And then Trick gets between both guys. Both guys punch Trick, throw him out the ring, and both of them stare down at each other. So this is great. Really good shit here. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Why? Because this is looking up to basically be a Worlds Collide, which is going to happen in late May 25th. That's great. So it's probably going to be NXT, TNA, and AAA, which is going to be fucking awesome. So that should be great right there. Can't wait for that shit. So they're building with that. It makes perfect sense. You know, you add in TNA, you add in some main roster guys that come in to work the event as well, like Penta, Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Dominic Mysterio. So yeah, really good shit there. Moving on. So this leads us into Lucha Crusifino. He confronts Stacks in the desert. And they are all driving like nice sports cars and shit. So really cool stuff there. Luca tells Stacks that he needs to make things right with the Don. Stacks is having no part of that. Stacks asks Luca if he knew why he invited him out here. And out to the desert, Lucas says, oh, fuck. And the screen goes back. So basically it seems like Stacks may have offed or deleted or murdered Luca Cristofano. Maybe. We don't know yet. But Stacks is a crazy motherfucker. Let's just keep it like that. He has caught a couple bodies. I'll put it like that. He's caught a couple bodies. He has. So Stacks is a killer. In storyline purposes, clowns. In storyline purposes. Only in storyline purposes. Alright. Moving on. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they show up and they taunt So Ruka and Zarya and everything else and all that. Who cares? That's fine, I guess. Moving on. So Trick Williams throws a hissy fit in the backstage area. He starts throwing stuff and breaking stuff. And then Ava just tells Trick to leave the building. All right, that's fine there. Dark State, they defeat Javon Evans and Miles Bourne. All right, good shit there, I guess. Moving on. So, Inamura, he tells Ava that he's heading back to Pro Wrestling Noah. Ava tells Briggs and Briggs and Inamura that they'll get one more shot at the NXT Tag Team titles next week. And then Inamura tells Briggs he used an old Japanese secret to get the match because he was basically like faking that he was sick or whatever and all that. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I'm gonna predict that they lose next week when NXT returns back to Florida, to Orlando, and post-match, that's when Jensen's going to, my bad, shit, not Jensen, Briggs, Josh Briggs is going to beat down Inamura, sending him back to Pro Wrestling Noah. How much you want to bet? I mean, I don't give a fuck about it, as you can tell, because I can't remember Josh Briggs' name. But that's probably what's going to happen. So we will have to wait and see how that plays out. But once again, I don't give a fuck about it. So who cares? Moving on. So Tony D and Rizzo, they're in a hotel. That's where they have Rizzo at, because she's hiding out. So Tony D tells Rizzo that he's all right physically. He hasn't heard back from Luca. Rizzo reminds the Dawn that he and Stacks grew up with each other. Stacks was the only one that taught her how to fight. People change. Rizzo's open to having a sit-down conversation, but the Dawn doesn't trust him. Stacks has declared war, and the Dawn can't put Riz at risk because he doesn't know what he's capable of. The Dawn says it's not safe for her to go back home, and he needs to lay low before things blow over. And then Tony D and Rizzo, they embrace. Okay, interesting. I'm down for that. I want to see what's going to happen. All right, moving on. So this leads us into Ricky Saint. He has a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber. He said that he's glad that Noam Dar is back and he captured the Heritage Cup after being taken out for a year with injury. However, he's a man of his word, and Lexus King will get his shot at the North American Championship next week. So Ethan Page shows up, and then Ricky then points out that Ethan Page is the man responsible for taking out Noam Dar last year. Then Lexus King shows up from behind, attacks Ricky from behind. Lexus King said he's going to take Ricky's precious title away from him. Ethan tells Ricky that they'll readdress their issues at another time, and then that was it. Okay, cool stuff there, I guess. Moving on. So Andre Chase, he opens up his suitcase, and he finds his Chase U sweater. And it seems like Chase U's back in business. All right. This is a little bit too much, but who gives a fuck? All right, main event of the evening. Stephanie Vacker defeats Roxanne Perez to retain her NXT Women's Championship. And then Julia stared down Vacker from the stage, and Jordan Grace was in the crowd staring her down. Okay, and that was it. So, there's that. Interesting stuff there, I guess. The match was alright. It could have been better, though. It really could have been better. But I know the crowd was tired of being in Vegas, so there's that. NXT overall was okay. Yeah, like I said, it could have been way better than what it was, but who gives a shit? You win some, you lose some. Like, this wasn't like a bad show. It was just okay. It's just the crowd was not there. They didn't care about anything, really. They really didn't. All right. So, moving on from that. So, apparently, Trick Williams and Lola Vice, and now Tony D'Angelo, it seems like all three of them are about to possibly get their NXT call-ups, and that could happen as early as this coming Friday on SmackDown. So apparently the plan is to bring up Trick and have him team with The Miz and Mello and try to get them back together. That's fine, I guess. I mean, I'm okay with that, if we're being honest. I really wouldn't do it, but because I want Trick to stay in NXT just a little bit longer. Maybe not for the remainder of the year, but at least a good, 3 more months. So bring him up around, July or August. But if they've got plans for him, that being Triple H, if he's got some plans for him, that's fine. Because we know you can't put Trick in the mid-card. Jacob Fatu has the U.S. title on lock. That's going nowhere. I would expect Jacob Fatu to have a Gunther-like run with the title. And then we know that they're not going to do Trick Williams and John Cena. That ain't happening. So I guess that's the best bet for Trick. Other than that, if you bring him just by himself, he's going to get lost in the shuffle. What the fuck? All right. Lola Vice, I could see her being on the main roster. She's been there about a good 2-3 years. You could put her on either show, Raw or SmackDown. Preferably SmackDown, though. She could go after the U.S. title. Feud with Chelsea Green, make that title relevant. Chelsea Green is a character wrestler. Basically, she's she's 95% character, 5% wrestler. I mean, she's good either way, but yeah. And the crowd will take a liking to Lola, because Lola has that ass. So yeah, Lola should be fine. She's a way better Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. She just is. So I think her MMA / Bellator transition to pro wrestling has been decent. It's been solid. So yeah, she'll be fine. And Tony D, him going to SmackDown or Raw would be okay, only if he can get over the vignettes and stuff like that he's done in NXT. But I don't know if they could do that on the main roster. That's the only problem that I have with it. I also want to know, who are they going to call back down? That's what I'm wondering. Who are they going to call back down? Those are pretty decent call-ups, but I would keep Mustard. I would definitely keep Trick Williams in NXT for another like 3 to 4 months. You could easily call up like an Eddie Thorpe or a Ridge Holland again, or maybe like a Wes Lee, J.C. Jane, Fallon Henley. You could even call up Jordan Grace. I think those people are ready. They've kind of been ready, especially the people who have been in NXT for a while, minus Jordan Grace. Like, they're ready. Like, if you can't do nothing with Ridge Holland again, I don't know. I really, if Ridge Holland doesn't get caught up, I could really potentially see Ridge Holland being one of the ones who ends up getting released, because we know that releases are coming. We don't know when, but we know that they're coming. So it is what it is at this point. But overall, the show was okay. I'm interested in seeing what happens next week, especially with the Stacks and Tony D sit-down confrontation. I wonder how that's going to go. Could it be we see Luca Crusifino and Rizzo siding with Stacks? I don't know. We have to wait and see. What did you guys think of NXT? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.